Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're getting into the real DNA of the MYP framework. We're talking about command terms. Think of them as the secret keys that unlock a much deeper level of student understanding, and we're going to figure out exactly how they work.
You know the feeling, right? You've designed what you think is the perfect question. You know your students have put in the work, but the answers you get back, they're just not quite it. It's that classic classroom disconnect. And honestly, it's exactly what we're going to tackle today.
So let's start right there, because this issue isn't about failure on anyone's part. It's really just a common and totally solvable mismatch in communication. At the heart of it is this: a significant mismatch between their effort and the expected demonstration of learning. I mean, our students are working hard, right? But they might be pouring all that incredible energy into the wrong kind of thinking. Maybe they're just describing something when you really needed them to analyze it, or they're listing facts when you were looking for them to justify a position.
And the result of that mismatch is something we've all seen. Students get so frustrated because their hard work doesn't seem to pay off in their grades. And for us teachers, we're left scratching our heads trying to figure out what our students actually understand. It's a huge roadblock to real assessment.
But what if there was a way to just bridge that gap? Well, there is. And that's where command terms come in. These aren't just vocabulary words to memorize. They are, quite literally, the language of thinking. It's actually pretty simple when you break it down. Command terms are just intellectual directives. They give students absolute clarity. So when you use a word like evaluate or design, you're not being vague. You are telling a student exactly which cognitive gear to shift into. It creates a shared, crystal-clear language for learning.
Now look at this number, 0.75. According to the groundbreaking research by John Hattie, that is the effect size of instructional clarity. To put that in perspective, that's powerful enough to create almost 2 years of academic growth in just one school year. It's just proof. When students know exactly what's expected of them, their achievement can absolutely skyrocket.
And that clarity has this incredible ripple effect, right? It sets super clear expectations. It builds consistency so that a word like analyze means the same thing in science as it does in language and lit. It supports equity, drives way deeper thinking, and it even promotes metacognition. It helps students start thinking about their own thinking.
Okay, so how do we make sense of all these terms? Well, they're not just a random list. They actually exist on this spectrum of cognitive complexity, which we can picture as a kind of staircase for learning.
Yeah, just think of it as a cognitive staircase. We all start at the bottom with the foundational skill of just remembering and knowing facts. From there, we climb up to understanding. Then we learn to apply that knowledge. Then we start to analyze it. And finally, we reach the very top where we can design and create. Every single step builds on the one before it.
So, let's take an example from that second step, the understand level. The term explain. Now, this isn't just about spitting back a fact. It's about getting into the why or the how. It means giving a really detailed account with all the reasons and causes behind it. And you can see how this one simple term flexes across the entire curriculum. In science, you're explaining a process. In INS, you're explaining causes. In lit, you're explaining influence. It's the exact same skill, just in a different context. And that is how we build thinking skills that students can take with them anywhere.
Okay, let's climb a little higher up that staircase to level 4, analyze. Now, the thinking demand here gets a lot bigger. Analyzing means you're deconstructing something. You're literally breaking it down into its different parts to see how they all connect and work together to make the whole thing tick.
And its versatility is just incredible. You could be analyzing a graph in math, a painting in the arts, or a major historical event in INS. The core skill is exactly the same. Take something complex, pull it apart, and understand its structure and its meaning.
And now, for the top of our staircase, we've got our level 5 terms, like design. This is where it all comes together. Students take everything they know, what they remember, understand, and can analyze, and they synthesize it all to create something completely new. It's about making a plan or a model to solve a real-world problem.
And this is where we see knowledge in action. Whether it's designing an app, an experiment, or even a costume for a play, students are actively creating and applying what they've learned in a really tangible way. This is, without a doubt, the peak of cognitive engagement.
All right, let's move into our final section, because this brings us to the most important point of all. Why mastering this language of thinking matters so much, way beyond the four walls of the classroom.
You see, the real magic is the direct link between these command terms and the IB's approaches to learning skills. When a student really learns how to justify a claim, they're developing critical thinking. When they discuss, they're building collaboration skills. These aren't just academic buzzwords, they are literally life skills in disguise.
And this whole progression is completely intentional. The MYP is designed to scaffold this journey. So in the early years, students get a solid foundation. As they get older, they move up to application and analysis, until finally, in year 5, they're focused on high-level evaluation and creation. It's the perfect bridge to prepare them for the rigors of the diploma program. So when it comes down to it, by explicitly teaching command terms, we are giving our students this incredibly powerful and portable toolkit. We're building confident, self-regulated learners who can take on any challenge that comes their way, because they genuinely understand what is being asked of them.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought to chew on. What if the most important thing we teach isn't a collection of facts, but a language for how to think critically, creatively, and clearly for the rest of their lives? Because when we shift our focus from what our students know to how they think, well, that changes everything. Thanks so much for diving in with me today.